Hello, hello. Welcome to the happiest season of all. Are you feeling it yet? Maybe not. Maybe you are feeling the added pressure that is heaped upon you as a busy working mom, trying to love Jesus, serve your family, build and strengthen your marriage, offer yourself to your business or your employer with joy, all the things. Then there's the added pressure that the world and you place on yourself during that hustle and bustle of that happy holiday season. As a young mom, I decided it was time for me to incorporate the family tradition of baking holiday goodies for our family and for others to share. So I packed up my kids and we went to my grandma's house because my grandma was always the baker. In fact, growing up on the back porch at my grandma's house, there would be Tupperware upon Tupperware upon Tupperware of baked goodies. There was divinity, potato pinwheels, Buckeyes, pecan tarts, peanut butter fudge, regular fudge, peanut butter brittle, all these delicious candies piled up on the back porch on top of the freezer with the warning, do not touch. Now, I'm sure you can imagine that oftentimes we were found sneaking out on the back porch, popping open the Tupperware container, pulling out that Mexican wedding cake or that piece of divinity, and then rearranging so it didn't look like anything was missing. It was hard to stay away from those delectable holiday treats that my grandmother made with love. She and my grandpa did all the baking and the mixing and the boiling and the cooking and it all. It was glorious, to say the least. Little did I realize back then that my grandmother was no longer raising her 4 children, right? I decided it was time for me as a young mom to incorporate this family tradition into our lives. So I visited my grandma and I learned how to stir up the divinity. I learned the process of using a candy thermometer. I learned how to test for the soft boil stage. I learned all those things and it was wonderful until the following year. And I tried my hand at all of these things with an epic fell. My divinity never hardened. My pecan tarts were sticky and gooey. Forget the peanut brittle. It was a disaster to begin with. And the fudge, it just didn't do. As a mom with young kids, I longed to incorporate Christmas traditions that had been so meaningful to my family into our family. But it was too much too soon, and I had to learn a simpler way. Maybe you're trying to live up to a holiday standard that is just wearing you out. Perhaps you're trying to attain to that perfect Instagram family where mom is able to shop, wrap, smile, go to every activity, not gain weight, and make sure everyone is happy. It's simply exhausting. Isn't it supposed to be that happiest season of all? Well, yes, it is, Marvelous Mom. The holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the New Year, each one really is a cause for good cheer. Taking time to be thankful to Jesus and our Father, rejoicing on the arrival of the long promised Savior, pausing to consider what God has done the past year while looking forward to his continued work in a new, exciting way. These are all really good things to celebrate. Our hearts ought to be lifted. So maybe you should take a step back and figure out where all this pressure is coming from. Put it in its rightful place and lay hold of the joy that the Lord has for you in this season. Hey, hey, busy moms. Welcome to Mom2Mom Mentoring. I'm Misty Hughes, your gratitude guide, celebration coach, and chief joy spreader. This is the podcast where we explore how to live, lead, and love from an overflowing heart of joy and peace, even during the holidays when our schedules overflow with sticky candy canes and endless to-dos. If the thought of adding one more holiday activity has you wanting to shut the door and hide, you are in the right place. Today, we're diving into simplifying the season. I'm going to help you develop a rhythm that ushers in harmony, tranquility, and peace to your heart and home. Today, I'm going to share a simple process to help lighten your holiday load. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to share more simplifying secrets to keep your heart connected to the one who is the reason for the season. This will help your spirit to sparkle and shine. And speaking of sparkle and simplicity, I've got a free gift just for you. This is my top 10 traditions that will add a little sparkle and merrymaking to your holidays. Now, I know I said we need to simplify, but I want to share these family traditions that helped bring my family together through years of disconnect, heartache, busyness, grief, and pain. Some of these so-called traditions we did only once, but they are lovingly remembered as traditions. In fact, this Thanksgiving, I heard one of my adult kids say, "Yeah, you remember the tradition we did that one year?" We all got a kick out of it. But I think for me, the idea of tradition is really about creating a sacred space to make memories. And with what you will learn on today's episode, you will find that you will have the capacity to make memories that matter to you and your kids. And you can laugh about it in the years to come. Head over to mom2mommentoring.com/holiday and grab your copy. Choose one of these tried and true merrymaking family traditions to add a little merry and bright to your holiday home. Now that I've piqued your interest, are you ready to learn a simplicity secret? Let's dive into today's episode. Now, if you've been with me a while, you might recall that in 1998, my husband decided to leave our family, breaking the news and our hearts this Saturday after Thanksgiving. Yep, what a time to be thankful. By the day after Christmas, I was holding divorce papers instead of holiday cheer. That year, joy and peace felt distant, almost like strangers. I could not muster any holiday cheer when our family was lying broken and bleeding on the floor. But God used that shattering of my own life, my hopes, my dreams, to rebuild me and our family. Over the years, I learned to focus on what truly matters. I did a deep dive into healing and the restoration of my own soul. I worked to discover my own values and worth. I defined the things that really matter, and I developed strategies to keep me on track. I found the courage to simplify my life, especially during the holidays. I started letting go of things and people. And if you'd like more wisdom and counsel on that, just go to episode 28 with my mom mentor friend, Christina Jolly. She shares her own journey of letting go that is inspiring and educational. Perhaps there are things that you need to let go of this holiday, things that don't align with your values, with your purpose, with what is best for your family. Perhaps there are joy suckers in your life that are hindering your ability to be merry and bright. Mom, if there is something that comes to mind when I bring this topic up, make a mental note of it and ask the question, what would happen if I let go of this one thing? If you're like me, you really want to do it all. You want to give, celebrate, make it magical, but there's just not enough of you or time to go around. Today, the first thing I want to invite you to do is to just identify that one thing. I'm not asking you to do anything with it, but what is that one thing that feels like a joy robber? For me, this year, it was the Christmas tree. Now, I am that one that loves a beautifully decorated tree. My tree is like a walk down memory lane. I pull out each ornament, and I remember when I was 8 years old and received this ornament from my brownie troop leader, or this ornament that I made with my grandma when I was 10. I pull out the ornaments that we gathered on family vacations, or the ornaments that my children and I crafted on our memory making holiday days. But this year, even the thought of putting up the tree and getting out those ornaments felt overwhelming. So we're keeping it simple. We pulled out my husband's little 4-foot silver vintage tree that he's had since he was a child. There's no lights, no ornaments, and great freedom for my soul this year. In seasons past, I've had to let go of other things that I enjoy. Baking, my idea of the perfect Christmas morning. I learned to say no to activities and choose ones that really mattered to our family. I've learned over the years the restorative simplicity of spending silent nights at home with the kids, cuddled up by the tree, reading our favorite Christmas book. I learned to embrace moments that brought real connection, restored our family and our hope that life can be better, and we began to build a better future. Now, some might tell you that saying no is a great way to start to simplify. Some might say identifying that thing that is robbing you of your joy and replacing it with something that brings you joy is another way to make merry for the holidays. Now, I don't know about you, but oftentimes knowing what is the right thing to do, knowing that I need to let go, knowing that I need to say no, does not give me the power to do the thing I know I ought to do. So I'm here to share with you a simplicity secret that I learned years ago by a wonderful mom mentor that will give you the inner strength to say no to the things that keep you from having a peaceful family holiday. Mom, that one thing, that simplicity secret is to help you with tools to build a reservoir of peace within. You see, if you establish peace within, then you'll be empowered to say no to the things that so easily entangle you and pull you away from your joy. If you establish peace within, the craziness of the holidays will not be able to still kill or destroy what is coming from the inside. If you establish peace within, you find the rhythm of life that works for your family. And it's so much easier to do what is necessary to stay in that rhythm. Simplifying your season starts from within. A marvelous mom mentor of mine, Margaret Thurkelson, taught me this simple way to help reset and center myself. I want to share this simple 5-minute exercise based on Psalm 46:10 with you today. This exercise will only take 5 minutes as you get started. It brings you into the posture of seeking Him first. This exercise is not about asking or crying out to God or even inviting Him to speak to you. It is about learning to be still and gazing upon the one who is called the Prince of Peace. Because, beloved friend, we become what we behold. So let's behold the Prince of Peace together. The first step in this exercise is to simply relax. Find a comfortable, quiet spot. Hey, if you are able, I encourage you to go find that comfortable, quiet spot now. Let's walk through this exercise together. And if not, you can always come back to this later. Listen as I recite Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. The word still literally means to relax, Sink down, let drop. It typically speaks of the hands, to cast down, to let go of, and be still. As you sit in this comfortable, quiet spot, feel your hands get slack. Let your shoulders drop. Allow yourself to sink down into the chair or on the floor. Is there something you're holding on to? Resentment, unforgiveness, anxiety, worry? Let it go. You can pick it back up later, I promise. But for right now, just let it go. Loosen your grip. Step 2 is to recite. Start with the simple phrase, be still and know that I am God. Yes, speak it out loud. Let yourself breathe in and out as you say these words. Continue to let go as you speak the words, relaxing more and more. Step 3 is to reflect, pause, and think about it. After saying the phrase, pause, take a deep breath, or 2 or 3. Allow the words to reverberate through your soul. The first time you recite it, be still and know that I am God. You'll pause and reflect. My mind might wander. Who are you, God? Do I know you, God? What does it mean to be still? And I breathe. As you continue to relax and recite, you will release. What that means is you will release a word each time you say it. So the next time you recite it, it will sound like, be still and know that I am. Allow your mind to pause and wander. You are the I am. How do I know you as the I am? Let these words echo through the silence. Step 5 is just to repeat. Keep doing this, dropping off a word each time until you get to be. Be sure to reflect and relax as you continue to recite. As you get to the end, allow the stillness of being to envelop you. Sit quietly for a moment and breathe, waiting on God, reflecting on the Prince of Peace. Beloved, to become all who God created you to become the woman with an internal source of peace, you must learn to first be. Knowing Him as God requires stillness. You become what you behold. And in these short intervals of developing stillness, as you look to the Prince of Peace in this space of stillness, you become more like Him. Christ is developed within you, and you, my marvelous mom, begin to reflect His very nature. And Christ within is where the power comes from to actually live out the no. Christ within is where the power comes from to stay steady and to stay at peace in the midst of the crazy hubbub of family gatherings. Christ within is where the wisdom comes from to know what to engage in and what to let go of. This is exactly where it started for me. This is where I come back to when I start to feel disconnected and anxious and separated from my Savior. My guess is this is where it needs to start for you. So as you simplify your season, remember that peace isn't about controlling the chaos around you. It's about letting God's peace take root within you. This week, I would like to invite you to this one thing, this one practice, to take 5, to relax, recite, reflect, release, and repeat until you are in that place of just being. This simple exercise will strengthen you to let go of those things that rob you of your joy this holiday season, to be peaceful and present in the midst of chaos. Next week, we're going to dive into how to maintain our spirit in the midst of all the busy, and you'll gain some more tools that will help you live, lead, and love from a place of remembering that Jesus is the reason for the season. Until then, I encourage you to grab your free guide of my top 10 traditions to add a little sparkle to your holidays. It's at Mom2MomMentoring.com/holiday. If this episode is helpful for you, I'd like to ask 2 favors. Number 1, share it on your social media or share it with a mom friend who is also struggling to find that place of peace and contentment in the craziness of the holiday season. I'd also like to ask you to go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review. Your review helps spread the word about Mom2Mom Mentoring to other moms like you who are longing to live, lead, and love from a place of peace and joy. Until next week, Mom, you've got this, and God has you.